guys want to do a little Q&A with you know who? Let's do it. Let's do 20 questions. I've been a full-time reseller since 2015, so we're going on, what, 7 years now? Kind of a glutton for punishment. I have no employees. I am I guess, a solopreneur, if you want to call it that. No family members helping. I do all the shipping, all the sourcing, all the photographs, and all those things. I'm not a huge fan of hiring friends or hiring family in your business. And I know there's others that do that, but that's just not something that I do. So yeah, it's just me. I started as an Amazon seller, but going through 2 suspensions, I've removed all of my inventory from Amazon. I don't sell on that platform anymore, and that includes my private label business. I do that wholesale only now. So I am primarily an eBay seller. I do a little bit of Poshmark, a little bit of Depop, but 99.9% is eBay. As for having a favorite, I don't really have a favorite. They all have their pros, they all have their cons. So it makes sense to kind of spread yourself out as much as you can and diversify from a platform perspective. But the 2 largest are Amazon and eBay, and I just do the majority of my business on eBay. About 10 to 15% of everything that I sell is in the shoe category. I do about maybe 15% in electronics, another 15 to 20% in toys, and then the rest is just scattered about home goods, just a random sort of hodgepodge of items. I get a lot of people will say, "Oh, I'll sell anything that I can make money on," and that's true. But if I had a favorite thing to sell, it would be shoes. They're easy to list, they're light. I have a really good system down for them. So, but my inventory is scattered about. It's diverse. My methods for sourcing are very simple. I do the vast majority of my sourcing at thrift stores like Goodwill, Volunteers of America, just whatever I have here locally. I will do a little bit garage sale related, a little bit estate sale related sourcing, and sometimes Facebook Marketplace, sometimes Craigslist. But again, I'm going to say 90 to 95% of all of the sourcing I do to find my inventory right now is through thrift stores. I don't do pallet purchases, although I have done that in the past. I haven't done that in about a couple of years, so thrift stores mostly. My average cost per goods is usually around $5 to $5.50 per item. I don't really focus on a profit per item number. I don't think that that's a useful tool. I calculate profit and cost of goods and things like that on a monthly basis. So the number that I'm always most interested in is my gross monthly sales. That's the number that I focus on there. And then of course, when I know what my cost of goods is relative to the amount of items that I sell monthly, which is around 250 items right now, I have a really good idea where my business is. So I don't focus on a profit per item number. I currently have around just under 1,100 total active listings across all platforms. But again, 1,050 of those right now, currently, as I'm recording this video, is eBay alone. So the vast majority of it is eBay. Ideally, I would like to get to a point where I have about 15 to 1,600 active listings. I'm just not growing fast enough. And that's my own fault. What I could make a bunch of excuses, but just under 1,100 items currently across all platforms. I don't focus on a daily percentage of items sold for my inventory. I kind of focus on the 90-day sales that eBay gives you. And right now I'm hovering around 70%. It was higher, and that's 70% of my total inventory is sold within a 90-day period. That's a number that I look at. I don't measure it a ton, but if it starts to drop below 70%, then it's time to start tweaking things. But like 70 to 75 to 80%, I feel like I'm doing really well if I'm selling through that much within a time frame of 90 days. And the reason that that's excellent for somebody like me is I'm a seller that prices very, very high. I'm not a race to the bottom seller, and I'm not the like low skill, lowest price listing seller. And that works for a lot of people. But I have reasons that I don't price that way because, again, I'm a one-man show. So I price on the high side, and if I'm doing 70 to 80% in 90 days, I'm doing really well. I do use promoted listings. I only promote my inventory items at 1%, and that is, just an arbitrary number that I've chosen. What I've noticed is from an impression perspective, that 1% does a lot of good for me. Now, does it translate to more sales? I guess that remains to be seen. And I know eBay has ways of calculating how they're going to kind of profit from how they run their like promoted listing campaigns on the back end, on their end. But that 1% does give me a good amount of additional impressions that I think helps my business. So I have no reason to change it at this point. But there's people that do 5%, 10%, they do the suggested percentage, but 1% seems to work for me right now. And again, that's always subject to change. But for me, if it's not broke, don't fix it. All right, I don't sell a ton on Poshmark. Now, that said, I think in the interest of like the overall reselling community, we should all be trying to pump Poshmark up. Amazon and eBay have too big of a stronghold as like the top two reselling platforms. So you really want the other ones to keep those two as honest as possible. So even though I don't sell a ton on Poshmark, I'm going to list a little bit more and more as the months go on, because again, we should all be kind of cheering for them to work at a really, really high level, even though it's apples and oranges when you're comparing the size of Poshmark to the size of Amazon. When it comes from like an active buyer perspective, there's no comparison. But we all need to root for Poshmark, and I think that means continuously building up our closets. So no, I don't share my closet ever because to me that's just a waste of time based on the amount of listings I have on Poshmark. So I can't really say if that like would help me or not. I don't know enough about it, but we all need to be cheering for Poshmark to become a big time player in the reselling platform community. So there's that. I spend, and these are just like averages, they fluctuate. I spend about 15 hours a week doing sourcing, and I spend about 10 hours or so doing listing. And again, that changes week to week, but from an average basis, I spend about a total of between 30 and 35 hours a week on eBay related logistics for my business, if that's what you call it. I don't know that there are any like large reselling podcasts that exist. I'm sure they exist, but I wouldn't know of them. I don't listen to a ton of podcasts. But if you want a recommendation on a good podcast, Pat Flynn from Smart Passive Income, that's one that I do listen to, not on a regular basis, but I've been following Pat for almost a decade now. He's actually made me a ton of money. We've emailed back and forth to each other. He's a really good dude. So I suggest if you want to listen to like a really good income earning or income producing podcast, Pat Flynn, SPI, that's a really good one to listen to. But like reselling ones, I don't know. I do Versus, so shameless plug where I don't know that it's necessarily podcast related, but I will sit down with other resellers that I know and respect, and we just kind of shoot the what back and forth, a little bit of personal, a little bit of business related mixed in, and it's just kind of go with the flow type of thing that you want to listen to on an afternoon when you're listening. You just kind of crank it on. So put Versus on your roadmap there, and then SPI is always a good one. My major business goal for 2021 was to grow my gross sales by 20 to 25% over 2020. So I did $150,000 in gross sales last year, 2020. I want to do 20% better than that or more in 2021 by basically working the same amount of time. I don't want to spend any more than 35 hours a week on eBay. I have to leave hours in the week professionally to do other income producing tasks. So if I can still do 30 to 35 hours a week on eBay and then grow to 20 to 25%, I've done phenomenal for 2021. So that's the goal that I focus on. Honestly, my favorite part of my business is navigating the distractions within the home with kids running around and all sorts of stuff going on. It can be frustrating at times, and so I'm like kind of like, hey, get out of my way, I'm trying to do this one task. When I look back at the end of the day, I'm like, yep, that's the problem I created. Like that's the problem I want, because the alternative is always much, much worse. So as annoying as it might be in the moment when I'm trying to speed things up or like complete something and move on to the next task, I cherish those distractions, as weird as that may sound. The best tip I can offer you is look for items that are hiding in plain sight. For those of you that have been following a long time, you know that those are the items that are like the bread and butter items that really pay the bills. So look up on the eBay app the basic everyday items that are sitting on shelves, because there are so many that have value that look boring that other people skip over. Everyone's going to notice like the big shiny object, but it's that basic looking object on a shelf that's been there that has value that everyone is skipping over. And that is like something that's never going to change, right? People chasing the shiny thing and they miss the basic thing. The professionals, right, or the ones that have longevity in this business are able to find the items that are hiding in plain sight. Focus on those items. The ho-hum doesn't look like anything items that you will surprise you with the amount of value they have. I do have another project. It's the Dad Planet website, and I've been working on it very loosely for a couple of months now, and it's basically ready to launch. I'm just adding some wholesale items for people if they want to purchase wholesale lots and whatnot. So I'm trying to grow that a little bit. I'm a very much start before you're ready kind of person, but this one just needs a little bit more tweaks and it will be ready. But yeah, the project that I'm working on right now is the Dad Planet website, sort of my own little space on the internet, because I don't own my platform. I don't own the eBay platform. I don't own Amazon. I don't own any of those. So having a website presence is important to me. And so yeah, that's a project that I'm working on right now that I'm kind of excited about. My ideal job, if I wasn't a reseller, would be to create an entity that audits orphanages. I think where a lot of the child trafficking issue in the United States starts from is at orphanages that go largely unchecked. And I think that that's both disgraceful and disgusting. So I would create an entity that audits orphanages in the interest of protecting the most vulnerable. I hate listing. I hate sitting at my computer, going through comps, typing in the whatever it is, and then hitting send and list or whatever it is and going through those motions. I can't stand listing. I hate it. I love even photographs. I don't mind taking. I love sourcing. I like doing all of the other stuff, but I can't stand sitting at my computer and listing. Who is with me? If you're asking me that question, the answer is absolutely yes, you can. You first of all believe in yourself that you can do it, right? But can you really make a full-time income reselling? The answer is yes. Every area is a little bit different, but if you really just kind of believe that you can make it happen and you set forth the path to do so, you can do it. Like, I have faith in myself. It is extremely competitive where I'm at. Everybody here is a reseller and I'm still able to make it happen. So yes, the answer is yes, you can. Follow along with me, watch the other people, do the best you can in your spare time, and then just go out and do it. Just go out and do it. Like, that's why I created this channel, to motivate people, not necessarily to do it full time, but just to do it. And if you want to take it full time, then, jump on my back and I'll carry you. I'll tell you a little story about a man named Peter Cullen. For those of you that don't know who Peter Cullen is, he is the voice of Optimus Prime, one of my childhood heroes. But Peter tells the story about him auditioning for the voice part of Optimus Prime. His older brother, Larry, was somebody that he really, really idolized. It's really endearing to listen to Peter tell the story. And so as he was rehearsing the voice, it was sounding way too Hollywood and just very strange and not authentic. And his older brother, Larry, said to him, "You have to be strong enough to be gentle." And those were profound words to Peter, who idolized Larry, his older brother. And so he went into the audition and he used a very soft-spoken, deep voice in the manner that Larry suggested. And long story short, he got the part. And if it wasn't for his older brother, who he just absolutely adored, he doesn't get that part because he doesn't use that advice. So Larry had a profound impact professionally on Peter, who has been the voice this entire time for that role that is so iconic. So when I look back at my business 5 years from now, I don't care what the numbers look like. I don't care where I'm at or even what I'm doing. But what I do hope is that there's somebody that can look back and say, you had a profound impact on my business. Like, I'm where I'm at now because of something you said, or something you said in a video, something you did in a video that helped me get over the edge or over the hump. And, you know, I'm at where I'm at now because something you did. That's where I hope my business is in 5 years, having more of a direct impact on people like you. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's all I got. I hope you enjoyed it. And a big shout out to Online Jen for putting this together. I will link her channel as well as all of the other participants in the description below. So I encourage you to take a look at all of them. And don't forget, that mystery box is going to be filled and I'm shipping it to one of you guys absolutely free for being a subscriber. So if you're not subscribed, make sure you are subscribed. Leave a like if you like what you saw. And that's all I got for you. Brendan here, Dad Planet. Thanks so much for watching. And I'll catch you all in the next video.